Hi, here's my update for today. So today, what I did was looked into the grid assets that Ahmed gave, and also had a meeting with JM, and then also worked on the some of the bugs with the crew member combat. So yeah, let's start. First, let's go through my Ahmed's comments in the last update video. So yeah, okay. So the first one, yeah, the impact frames do look better. Make it look better. There's only one problem with the impact frame. The way I implemented it requires the mesh to only have one material, so that's why the crew members and only has like one color in them. But yeah, for now that's fine. Okay, this next one talks about the weapon slots. Okay, Amit and Ben will figure that out. Next, okay, not that. Okay, I also removed the 1x, so yeah, the numbers here, I removed them already. Uh, Dialogue confused me. What is our plan with that? Yeah, basically, the idea for that dialogue was basically to make the crew members like reactive, so if something happens, they react like, okay, commence the assault, man the engines, man the weapons, stuff like that, but uh, let's just leave it like that for now. If we're gonna really fix how the dialogue works, or if we're gonna change how the dialogue works, might as well just um, rework the entire dialogue system. So yeah, damage numbers are cool, but what are these numbers? 0.8, and what's up with the helper segments? What is two segments supposed to be? Two segments. Wait, I don't know what you mean by two segments. Well, to answer the first question, why is there 0.8? It's Benny's data. His own added that 0.8. He said it's in order to balance some stuff, but I told him if it's gonna be segments, there shouldn't be decimals. But yeah, that's the reason why it's 0.8. Microphone has issues. Do you need a new one? Uh, because when I'm recording with OBS, there's no filter to my audio. That's why my audio sounds a bit rough sometimes. And yeah, maybe I should also get a better microphone like what Benny's using right now. But yeah, that's in the future. Okay, so I think that covers your feedback from the update video. So let's first start with the grid assets. So I took a look into the grid assets and I basically, yeah, looked into their features, looked into what their limitations are, and also into their Discord. And to sum it up, basically, this one here in the middle, the mega grid system is the best one right now. I know this one seemed really good. The advanced turn-based style toolkit, it looked good. But to summarize it, uh, it's only good for turn-based combat. Like it's really made for just turn-based combat. So yeah, let me just go into more detail now. So this first asset here, the hex grid toolkit. This is basically a simple hex grid asset. So it's very bare bones. By simple, I mean it's like very bare bones. It just has a hex grid, just has some coordinates, and that's not good compared to the other two. This one's the worst because it has a hex grid, but now I still have to. It doesn't have any what do you call this? AI pathfinding, grid pathfinding. So I'll still have to do a lot of work to get it working properly. I think that's why I don't suggest to use this one. Uh, the mega grid system. Anyway, let's start with the first advanced turn-based tile toolkit. So yeah, it looks good and everything, but it it relies only on turn-based system. So the reason I found that out was okay. Also, another reason why I'm surprised why this doesn't have a documentation. Like it only relies on the tutorial videos, which just kind of sucks. I'm surprised as it as popular as this doesn't have any documentation. But yeah, anyway, at least their Discord is good because in their Discord I discovered this text here where this guy was basically asking if this is working in real time, not turn based. So similar to ours, like TFT, that's real time, that's not turn based. And then the dev replied, basically saying that this asset is very much assigned with turn based games. And he even said it himself that he's not sure if he can recommend buying this asset when creating real time game in mind. So it will be possible to make it. And he also mentioned here that it's possible to make it real time, but that will just have to you'll have to rework most of the code, so it's not worth it. So that's from the dev himself. That's why just from that, I don't think we should go with the advanced turn-based toolkit. So what we're left with is mega grid system, and this is actually pretty. Uh, this is actually something we can use. So from the images here, you'd think that this only applies to the landscape, but you can also apply this to the meshes like the airships. So it doesn't have to be only for the landscape. So let's go through the overview here. So MegaGrid is a powerful and versatile plugin. Yeah, so wait, so the features. Um, wait, I'm looking for something, I can't find it. But anyway, what this asset is supposed to be is like a foundation. So, and then you can put your own logic on top of it. So this serves as a foundation. So what it simply does is you can either use a hex grid or a square grid, and then it also has built-in pathfinding, and in the each tile you can set its state in each tile. So you can see here in the trees they're red, which means you're not able to walk towards them. So this is also possible when there's like an enemy, the player crew member cannot go over the enemy and stuff like that. So I also contacted the developer. Um, wait, let me go here. Okay, so basically I just asked some stuff related to what I need for this to get running. So for example, I ask, I'm planning to implement an auto battler style combat similar to the game TFT. Would the system, especially its pathfinding component, support something like that? And then he said here, like, where's that? I took a brief look at TFT and it seems like the simple hex-based style movement. In that case, you have no issues. You can just change the style states. So I think based from his responses, it's gonna work for our game. The only problem is that in this asset, it only has one grid per level. So what I mean by that is like one grid, so one continuous grid. So for example, you think that the airship has their own grid and then the enemy airship has its own grid, but for this system it only supports one grid, so the airship and the enemy is within the same grid. You just have to make it so that it only. I mean, wait, but, wait, I'm just saying this wrong. But what I'm trying to say is that there's one grid, and there's so that means you can create a separate grid that's just for the enemy ship and a separate grid that's just for the player ship. But based from what the devs said, that shouldn't be a problem because you can mask grids, so some grids shouldn't show up depending on how you set it up. So I still think it's possible to work with this system. And out of these three, only this one has like a demo game. So let me show that to you. Um, okay, there's two levels here. One for square grids and another for hex grids. Okay, so this is a world here, and if I press the space bar, you can see green indicates it's grass. Purple means it's there's nothing under. Red means it's you cannot move onto it. So for example, this character here, if I select him and click on this area, creates a path, and it avoids the red tiles. And then you can also influence its path using something called like weights. So for example, this green grass here has a weight of 77, and this character here can pass through weights that are below 100. So the weight, the movement score of this character is 100, right? And then the grass is 77, the weight, so that means it can pass through it. But let's say I get another character here. Wait, no, not this guy. This guy here, he cannot pass through grass because his movement score is low. So instead of going through the grass here, you'll find another route. But yeah, that's probably not related to the TFT stuff. I don't know what you use it for, but I guess that's something you can do. And also another showcase here is that you can the grid dynamically changes depending on the. I mean, it changes dynamically. So if I move this object here, then now that's uh wait, let's move it here. So now that the player avoids the orange spaces. And yeah, I'm going to read more of its documentation. I didn't read through everything yet, but so far this is the best candidate for the grid asset right now. If we're gonna decide to go with the grid assets, the developer is pretty. I like the developer is pretty active. He responded to me quickly, like within 30 minutes, so that's good. And yeah, this table here, if you want to check out, this is in the prototyping board, by the way. So the price of this mega grid system is 50 euros, and yeah, this table here comparing them. But I don't have to go through them. I also wrote down the feature list of all the grids and made ChatGPT like decide which is the best one based on our game and needs. Also decided with the uh, what's the name again? Mega grid system. So yeah, I think that will be it for my grid uh grid asset part. Some screenshots here in the Discord. So this guy's basically saying, okay, what if can the grid be like this? Like instead of a landscape, it's like a room. He said, yeah, you can make it so that it works like that. So yeah, this is probably pretty gonna be like our airship. So there's like stairs and stuff. And then this guy here was asking, what's he asking again? Oh, this guy here was asking which is better, this asset, the mega grid system, or the advanced turn-based, and even so what the dev says, if you're a turn-based game, then go with that. If you're not, then stick to this. It's different. So basically, this asset here is made so that to be built on top of, while this one is just a system that you work with. It's not something you would really tweak that much. So yeah, that's it for the grid part. And then okay, let's talk about JM. So I had a meeting with JM earlier. He was basically asking about an issue he's having with an asset. It's about the parenting issue. So in Blender, the parenting works, but if we uploaded it to or imported it to Unreal Engine, it stopped working. So I mean, when I took a look into it, even I wasn't sure how to solve that. So I wasn't able to take a screenshot of what what asset he was working on. But yeah, during the meeting, his phone kept on getting disconnected, and then at that point, I just told him that if I mean he suggested to just meet tomorrow again to talk about it again. So yeah, we'll see. Here he was just I tried importing the engine asset onto our game, but it wasn't working properly. So maybe it has something to do with the import settings. That's why I showed this. So I'll look into this tomorrow. So yeah, we'll have a meeting with James tomorrow. Okay, then finally the stuff I worked on with the game. So yeah, I basically just looked into the bugs. For example, there's a bug where the enemy crew member is not fighting back sometimes. Like for example, enemy boards the ship, but the enemy isn't moving at all. It's not targeting anyone. And then there's another bug where, yeah, I fixed a bug where the crew member tries walking back to the enemy ship because he was assigned there. So let's see. The guy's going to board my wait, my guys are dead. Let me just restart this. Uh, okay, my guys are in the ship. The enemy is trying to board. They shouldn't go back to the be assigned back to the transporter. Okay, yeah, they just immediately start attacking already. And then there's also another bug I fixed where when the person when they're getting damaged by another character, they're not reacting. So for example, my crew member is being hit by a range attack from an enemy crew member, then that crew member isn't reacting, they're not going to attack that enemy. So that's also another bug that I fixed. And sometimes they have a target, but they're not moving towards a target. So this is also another bug that I fixed. I can't show it to you right now because I fixed them already. That's why, yeah, I'm just saying it. So yeah, other than that, that's gonna be my update for today. Um, uh, yeah, we'll have a meeting tomorrow. So yeah, see you tomorrow. Ahmed. Thanks for watching.